Thanks again for agreeing to take part this term. To help you complete the survey at school, I will send you all the necessary resources. This will include your survey links as hyperlinks or QR codes, template letters for parents, a summary of the survey questions, and a comprehensive survey guide. Ipsos, Sport England's survey partner, have selected 3 random year groups from your school. They are identified in the email. Select just one class from each of these year groups. Next, use the letter template provided in your resource pack to send out information to the parents of your selected classes. This will give them the opportunity to opt their child out of the process if needed. Key Stage 1 parents will also be asked to complete a parent survey to give context to the answers provided by their children. Then, use the individual year group links to survey each class. Use the hyperlinks on PCs or laptops, or the QR codes if you have tablets. I've found it's often easier to work in small groups of 10 to 15 children at a time. The surveys take approximately 20 minutes to complete. Secondary schools can set the survey as homework or use tutor time. A summary of the survey questions is also provided in your resource pack. Finally, one teacher from the school needs to complete the teacher survey, as this provides information for your Healthy Schools rating certificate. So let's have a look at the surveys. The first survey is the Key Stage 1 survey, which is very straightforward. It's a series of simple questions and answers that the children can work through on their own or teacher-led if you have the survey up on an interactive whiteboard. It's worth noting that the survey does ask them which month their birthday is in, followed by the question what day their birthday is on. So it's worthwhile printing out a list of dates of births for the younger children who might not know that information. Next, if we take a look at the Key Stage 2 survey, this is slightly more involved. So I'm just going to talk you through the most complex part of it. So after the initial few questions, the pupils reach this page, which asks them to list the activities that they have taken part in the last 7 days. So it's worth emphasizing this to your pupils that it is just the last 7 days, as some of them might get really excited and start ticking lots and lots of boxes. So we need to emphasize to them to be accurate in their answers, because they will go on to answer more questions about the activities that they identify from this list. I found that it's helpful to have the survey open on a whiteboard or use a projector so that you can point out certain activities. For example, there might be pupils in your class that walk to school. There's also identifying if they play certain games during the school day in the playground, such as kicking a ball around, playing it, tag, chase, etc. Consider as also PE lessons that you've done in the last 7 days. So if you've had a PE lesson and everyone collectively has taken part in, say, for example, rounders, then everyone can tick that box. And then obviously the pupils have just got to consider any other clubs or sports or activities that they might have taken part in outside of school hours. So once they're happy that they've identified their activities, they get taken to the next page, which is specifically related to activities during the school day. So this is where they identify those things that they did in school. So, for example, where I mentioned before about the PE lesson, they might have all done PE lesson on Thursday and it was rounders. So we just identify that Thursday was the PE lesson. Some of the children might say that they take part in playground games every day of the week, in which case they identify that, and maybe a couple of days they're allowed to kick a ball around, and so they just identify those activities. The activities that happen outside of school hours, so for example walking to get to school, and the sports that are identified as extracurricular clubs, they remain blank, so that when we hit the next page, we're given the same 7-day view again, but this is to identify the activities that we took part in outside of school. So this is where children who walk to and from school every day or some days a week, can register that activity. The kicking a ball around, we mentioned we did inside of school. Also, the running games were inside of school, so we leave those blank. And there, as was rounders, as a PE activity. So then they just need to identify when they've done their other sporting clubs or sporting activities, such as rollerblading or skateboarding. So they just fill those in. So leave the school-based activities blank on this page and just identify the days then they've done the other activities. Then they're taken to questions related to the activities they identified, namely how long they did those activities. So they just need to identify the times, and they'll work their way through those related questions. This is where some children might take longer than others if they've identified more activities than others. After that, you should be able to leave the children to work quietly through the rest of the questions and the survey until they get to the end where there's a button where they just hit submit. Hopefully, this should have given you a better understanding of how to go about the Active Life survey in your school. However, don't forget that you can book a slot for Active Surrey team members to come into school and facilitate survey completions with your pupils. Dates are found at the link at the bottom of your email. So if you do need support, please do book in a time for team members to come into school. Failing that, if you have any questions or queries throughout this process, my number is on the screen. Please do not hesitate to get in touch.